Good spot here, 2nd and 2. Second down, Dalton, and he finds Tyler Croft. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. They pick up 12 on the play there, and they move the chains.
And there's another completion to the tight end. And let's face it, it is hard to overthrow a 6'6" target.
It is indeed. Quarterbacks like their speed guys. They like that huge 6'6" target that they've got in him.
They really do. And it reminds me of what one great tight end told me once. He told his quarterback, just make sure you throw it up there. You know, kind of like put up on the top shelf where the kids can't get it.
It's second down. Dalton looking. Deep drop. He's going to launch this thing way downfield. It's caught at the 10. And he'll be down deep into Jet territory. Well, they've been practicing goal line offense all week. Let's see if they're able to capitalize here. A great job pulling that one in from a guy, as we know, who can really blaze. He's got a lot of speed.
And that speed can work for him so many different ways. Sometimes he just takes off and goes and just runs past people. Sometimes you get people to back off so far that you can catch everything underneath. But still, at some point in the game, you probably have to make some contested catches, right? Sometimes you have to go up and beat a defender for the football. He has that in his arsenal as well.
Showed it right there. Only a yard there, and that'll bring us to 3rd and goal. First drive for this offense today, and our first chance to get a look at Tyler Eifert.
And he's part of the new wave of tight ends in the NFL. They use them in every position, sometimes even by themselves as a wide receiver.
Can this defense get the stop on the opening drive? Here's 3rd and goal. Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. And here comes play number 6 on this drive. An extra defensive back on the field here for 3rd and goal. 3rd and long. What will Dalton dial up? And probably the wise decision there. No one open. He just throws it away. And that keeps the field goal on the table as it's 4th down.
Partner, how many times have you heard it? Pressure creates diamonds, right? But it also bursts pipes. And on that one, that's what they got. They got after him, and he was fortunate just to get rid of it.
Yeah, he just had to chuck it away. And Bullock will put this one through. And the Bengals are on the board first here. It's 3-0. So they come into enemy territory. Nice drive to start the game, but they probably wanted 6. They only got 3.
I agree with you totally. That's the expectation. When you get the ball and you start moving it and you're rolling, you think you're going to end up in the end zone. But they should be happy with the 3. A good way to get things going here in this game.
So now here comes the Jet offense as they get ready to take over. They'll be led out by a man who continues to climb up the all-time passing charts. Undrafted from Eastern Illinois, it's Tony Romo.
To me, Tony Romo is one of the great success stories in the NFL. Undrafted, turned himself into one of the top quarterbacks in the league. One of the guys that you would build a team around and expect to contend for a Super Bowl.
So a good grab there. And here's a guy, he had to learn the offense quick, just picked up as a free agent earlier this week.
And usually there's a connection, isn't there? A past coach, someone from the front office who knew him from before and thought that he could help this team.
And it's brought in by Eric Decker. A good pickup there. 8 yards on the first down completion. So this brings up a 2nd and 2.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
And he'll get it out to midfield. Looks like, yeah, they'll spot it right at midfield at the 50. So the offense has it 1st and 10.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. George Iloka, the one that comes up to make the tackle. 8 yards to go here on 2nd down. On 2nd down, here's Romo. And he slings one that's incomplete. Virgil Green is tied in, the intended receiver. And it's 3rd down. And the offense looking to pick up the first down after the 2nd down incompletion. Throwing on 3rd down, Romo. And he comes back with one complete. So a nice job to break the 1 tackle, but not much daylight after that as he's brought down. And now Nick Folk, his career long, 56 yards. They spot it on the midfield stripe, so it is a 60-yard attempt here. So 1 quarter in the books on NFL kickoff weekend. 3-0 is our score. EA Sports NFL Sunday returns following this. With Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin with you. It's the Jets in possession as we begin quarter number 2 here. They are, however, facing a 4th down situation. And now Nick Folk, his career long, 56 yards. They spot it on the midfield stripe, so it is a 60-yard attempt here. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this second quarter. Too long for a field goal, too short to punt, that in-between range, and they'll go for it on 4th down. They do snap it. Now Romo backing up. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by Adam Jones. And his guys are going to get the football at the 23-yard line. Now this Bengals offensive unit ready to see what they can do here. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
They'll run again with Bernard. And he'll go down right at the 30-yard line. A nice job there as he rumbles for 9. And it'll be back to a 3rd and 3.
But you got to give kudos to your offensive line and the guy carrying the ball because they were in a 2nd and long situation. It seemed pretty dire, but they brought it back to 3rd and manageable with that run.
Dalton gives to Bernard. And tough going there as he'll only get it up to about the 31. Just a 1-yard gain on the play, and that. A call to the punt team as it's 4th down. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. Here's the Jet offense now. They head out to take over. Looked like they had something going last drive. Then the interception happened. Will they recover?
The memory they need to keep with them is that they did have something going. They were moving the ball on offense, had a nice sequence going. Don't worry about the other part. You can't get that back. Let's go back to what you were doing well before.
I thought you were going to say they need to have no memory, but remember the good part, forget the bad.
I like that even better.
Back to the air they go. Romo on 2nd down. And caught right side. Green. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's 3rd down. Defense looking to hold serve one last time here on 3rd and 7. And a nickel look here for the Bengals as they try to defend this on 3rd. To throw is Romo. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
One of the best routes, one of the favorite routes of any play caller. He just ran that one. Nice little angle route. That's supposed to be a catch, and usually it is, and the running back dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a running back, but he's got hands. He should have caught it. Now Romo. And he finds Safarian Jenkins. And he will have a 1st down as they get him to the ground at the 37. I don't know if I agree with that. I guess they don't care if I agree with that. But, boy, you have to be surprised by that, right?
I definitely was surprised that they decided to go for it in this situation. But they must have either felt like they either had a great play call on or they're trying to show extreme confidence.
Give them 16 on the pickup, and it's good for a New York 1st down. So to carry that time for Forte, a man who turned 30 last December, Charles.
And he wants to make sure we forget about that with his new team, the New York Jets. But we do know that 30 is the dreaded age for runners.
And Forte so experienced, more touches than anybody else in the NFL the last 8 years. And it looks like this will likely be the last play before we hit the 2-minute warning.
Let's see if they can sneak one more good play in before the 2-minute signal.
2 minutes to play here in the first half. A reminder coming up at this and every halftime this season, we'll be checking in with Larry Ridley in Orlando for highlights and analysis of our first half.
LR, that's my man.
That's your guy.
As tight ends go, he might not provide the super flashy plays very often, but he's pretty reliable. Usually an excellent target and normally catches what's thrown to him, but he didn't on that play.
Here's Romo. It's hauled in by Ellington. And he's got the first as they'll bring him down at the 28-yard line. Offense comes to the line now, 1st and 10.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Romo. And he'll take this into the end zone. Now, hold on here. We do have a flag down. So let's see what this is about. Nick Folk for the point after. And this is up and good to make it 7-3. Folk now set to boot it after his guys put 6 on the board. And on the return, here comes Adam Jones. And they're going to start this drive in pretty good shape as they get it up past the 30. So now the Bengal offensive unit back out onto the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well,
else.
and maybe you try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area. There's a completion to the tight end, and I think that we're looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
size, the hands.
Speed, I mean, a flat-out run.
Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. Two receivers left, one to the right. Now Dalton with a 1st and 10. And his throw here's incomplete. Brandon LaFell, his intended target. That'll bring up 2nd down.
It's a tried and true formula, and